Golden Drops is a global initiative by Brahma Kumaris that aims to engage hearts and minds to behold the beauty and begin consciously creating a beautiful world.
We've all faced worry, and we've probably all felt frustration, anger, every now and then a loss of control. So a little peace and harmony is probably not a bad idea. And one of the most profound things that I've read about peace is something from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nobody can bring you peace but yourself. Probably true, but some folks help.
And one of the best examples to look at collective transformation is the process in biology that is called metamorphosis, when something like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. The two are quite different. A caterpillar is like a worm. A butterfly is a very magical creature with beautiful colors that flies. This is what happens. At a certain point in its development, a caterpillar becomes very greedy. It starts to consume more than it needs. And when its consumption exceeds its metabolic needs, the caterpillar's body starts to die. And it starts to liquefy. But within the body of the caterpillar, there are a few cells here and there that scientists refer to as the imaginal cells. Imaginal cells. Because these imaginal cells are dreaming a new reality, literally. These imaginal cells, they vibrate in a different frequency of consciousness. And when the caterpillar's body recognizes these imaginal cells, they attack them. The immune cells of the caterpillar, they attack the imaginal cells. But because the imaginal cells are vibrating at a different frequency, they remain immune to the onslaught. Soon the immune cells give up, a critical threshold, then something magical happens. A gene, a genetic code that has been lying dormant in the body of the caterpillar, it wakes up. And in that genetic code is the information for wings, is the information for a new heart, the information for antenna, the information for legs, the information for a new metabolic rate, because the metabolic rate of a flying creature has to be different from the metabolic rate of a worm. All that is coded in the gene. And the gene which was sleeping wakes up because of the connectivity of the imaginal cells. And as the rest of the body of the caterpillar starts to die, then the imaginal cells, they start to use the dying carcass of the caterpillar as their nutritive soup. And soon, a butterfly emerges with the flight to freedom. You are the imaginal cells. So please, start to imagine the new reality.
If something is powerful enough in our thoughts, then it takes practical form in the world out there. This collective energy can bring things to a critical mass, and a better world will come about in a flash.
You may have noticed that when you walk through freshly fallen snow, it makes it easier to pass that way again. And the brain works in a very similar way. My every thought leaves an imprint within it. When happy or sad feelings accompany the thought, those feelings also arise again easily, because brain cells that fire together wire together. These mechanisms help me cope with the world in which I find myself. But what if I feel called to a more beautiful world? Then, as much as I can, I must choose thoughts and feelings of beauty, of which scientists have found that the most powerful in rewiring the brain is love.
Outside of Boston, Massachusetts, USA. And when my husband and I would drive into the city, my husband would start saying, you know, we're never going to find a parking place. And you know how much the garages are, on and on and on. When I would drive into Boston, I would find a parking space. No, I do not have a parking genie on my car. I don't believe in that. What I do believe is I'm looking for a parking space. That means I'm looking at who has packages, who's reaching into their pocket or their pocketbook, getting keys. Is someone walking more slowly trying to find their car? So I am attuned to the signals of what it is that I'm looking for. And there's no magic in that. Or maybe it's magic and it's practical magic, I don't know. But what you look for is what you're gonna find.
Everyone carries deep memories of a beautiful world, and awakening from those memories of beauty creates feelings of hope. Hope opens the mind to new possibilities and stirs up a sense of personal impact on the state of the world.
surrounded by ancient ecosystems, the forest follows this ancient, unhurried pace. A very slow and deep heartbeat. A tree heartbeat, only perceptible when the earth has settled down your mind and made it very still. And it is connecting you with all life on this beautiful planet. The life force of the rivers and seas, on the mountains, in the sky. You feel part of it all, connected and whole.
Like the strong roots of these magnificent trees, I see that at the heart of humanity, we are all individual yet deeply and sweetly connected.
And I also love the best friends of humanity, which are the animals. All our animals makes us humble, makes us sweet, makes us remember the most vulnerable and what we need to care for.
Leatherbacks, I'm very passionate about them. Conservation work in Nova Scotia and around the world is incredibly important. And we want to keep these guys alive as long as we can.
What I love about kite surfing is the freedom. When you are in the ocean, you have the purity of the nature, so it's amazing.
What I love most about humanity is that on the one hand, we have a huge diversity of cultures, traditions, and ways of living. And yet, beneath all of those differences, we're all very similar. We all want to love and to be loved. We all want to be happy like children. And once we get beneath those surface differences, it's easy to connect with each other.
I I've had the fortune to live and work in many different countries and for extended periods of time. What fascinates me the most is that every country I've ever been to, I find that people to the core are actually all the same and want the same. They want to be happy, they want to be peaceful, and they want to be loved, and they want to feel connected. And my experience has been that people are fundamentally, to the core, everybody is loving and kind and thoughtful, and we're all just one.
खुशी is like I am like मुझे सब अपने लगते हैं. Everyone is I feel like my family. So मुझे उनको प्यार देना, उनको खुश करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. और मेरे लाइफ में जो भी सिचुएशन आते हैं तो I feel वो मुझे कुछ सिखाने आए हैं. और मुझे बहुत ही एक्साइटमेंट होता है कि इस सिचुएशन से मुझे क्या सीखने मिलेगा. And I am like excited and happy always.
I love the ability to get true, pure joy in really simple things. I, notice people when they just stop and smell roses, they stop and actually see if they can listen to birds and hear them. And when they can't, they're interested in the rustling of the leaves. And I have watched people truly just slowly bloom in the moment from something that beautiful.
Ce que j'aime dans l'humanité, c'est sa diversité, sa richesse. Elle est comme un énorme bouquet et toutes les fleurs sont plus belles les unes que les autres. Chacune est unique et sa beauté ne fait que souligner la beauté du bouquet. Et ce que j'admire dans l'humanité, c'est sa créativité, cette capacité à puiser dans des ressources intérieures qui souvent se révèlent dans les heures les plus sombres.
Identity is important. It's important to know who you are and all the great things that you are so that you can be your best self.
ما أحبه في الإنسانية هو أنه إذا أمعنا النظر في عيني الإنسان لنصل إلى قلبه سيدهشنا أن نكتشف أنه يمكننا أن نخترق في ثانية واحدة أميال من الحواجز: العرق، اللون، المظهر، اللغة. سيدهشنا أن نكتشف أن لغتنا واحدة، لغة الحب الروحاني، وسيصبح جسر التواصل.
In 2000, when I was a 10-year-old boy, I was watching the Olympics, and the swimmer, the announcer of the swimmers had a very particular voice, and I always remembered his voice. And then in 2012, after I made the Olympics, I walked on deck for the first session, men's 400 IM Heat 1, and it was the exact same announcer. In that moment, I know this is it. We're here. We're starting.
was during one of the last presentations, like performances. There was a voice that spoke to me that said, "You've made it. You got what you wished for. You fulfilled your dream."
My golden drop for a better world is
golden drop for a better world is happiness.
What I love about humanity is unlimited creativity. Using our collective creativity brings about a better world for all.
My golden inspiration for a beautiful world is Charlie Chaplin. He inspires me so much that I drew him becoming an angel, because I think his humanity and humor combine in such humility.
In a beautiful English garden, the trees are hurting. Someone has taken an axe to them, cutting off their bark. From around the world, arborists are gathered to help save the trees. They started by reapplying the bits of bark that were lying beside each tree, but then decided what was needed was to cover each tree with a coconut husk as a temporary bark until they could heal themselves. The children of the city sent good wishes for the trees in the form of these painted rocks. In a land where the sun shines generously, it is possible to co-create with Mother Nature and use the energy generated by the sun to sustain a village, a community, in combination with thousands of trees that are planted around the site to absorb carbon and prevent dust covering the solar panels. Organic agriculture, also there, a co-creation with nature without giving it any burden. Adding beauty for a beautiful world, a model of playing with natural elements.
Across the Sahel region, on the southern border of the Sahara, communities in 11 countries of the region are fighting back climate change. They're growing a line of trees and plants that will bring life back to the land and transform people's lives.
We live in such an extraordinary world. Around 8 billion human beings. And some researchers tell us that each one of us emanates around 70,000 thought patterns in a waking day. It's almost like we're creating this collective thought soup. When I tap into my true self, my original self, my spiritual essence, it begins to tap into the inner silence that is stored within me. This inner silence is a vibration and energy that heals, that nurtures, that restores and creates. When my light of self-awareness is switched on, I know who I am. Automatically, I start to radiate a different frequency, a frequency of silence. And it's this vibration that starts to change the thought soup in the world. It starts to influence me. It begins to reach the material world and influence the material world. It reaches and influences our environment. It reaches and influences others. Just as our collective thoughts have created the atmosphere in the world now, our collective thoughts of this silence, this pure energy, will begin to create a new world.
What does it take to create real gold? Almost all the ornaments and jewelry that we see in today's world, there are grades of purity. Something 16 karat gold, 14 karat gold. And yet when gold has alloy mixed in it, its value decreases. And for it to be then transformed into pure gold, it needs to be melted. Real gold can then be molded into something new. Allow the images, the noise, the thoughts of this old world to melt away, and out of that furnace of deep peace and pure love, create a pure thought. That is the golden drop needed for a new world.
Golden Drops is a global initiative by Brahma Kumaris that aims to engage hearts and minds to behold the beauty and begin consciously creating a beautiful world.
If something is powerful enough in our thoughts, then it takes practical form in the world out there. This collective energy can bring things to a critical mass, and a better world will come about in a flash.
shining light on beauty. Shining light on beauty in this world today, whatever beauty you can find. It's beauty in others, it's beauty in nature, beauty in creativity, and beauty in yourself, of course. And these are all golden drops. And these golden drops you can share. You can share by talking about it, you can share by thinking about it in your mind, and you can share it on social media.
Every day, golden drops are coming in from different countries. Each drop adds positive energy to create a beautiful world. Reach out to someone you know from a country not already highlighted on the map, and let's shine light on beauty from each and every country and cover the entire world with gold. This will be a New Year's gift to the world.